basically. And also in the women's, I don't know the woman's name, I'm afraid, but because I haven't seen the footage of it either, because it happened whilst I was at work, I think. But the last, she did the same.
Wow.
Qualified first.
Very impressive.
And sacked off the second one to save her energy. So it looks like we're good for 3 potential medals in that.
Yeah.
It was an event that was strong for us last time around as well. Very enjoyable.
And we saw the young English swimmer breaking the 100 metres world record as well, didn't we?
Adam Peaty,
phenomenal.
Star of the games. And because of the way the news cycle works, with the events happening, the big events happening overnight, essentially, he's had a whole day of news run. So his poor Nan, bless her, hasn't been off the fucking BBC.
Has she not? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it really likes swimming. That's about all she can give you, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic.
So SLP recommends the Olympics as well. I do have a couple. They're not, I think people mostly know that.
Can I talk about the Olympics a bit more before we talk about yours?
I suppose so, yeah, we've got a bit of time. It's only 10 past 10, it's been a short show.
What I was going to say is what's interesting is seeing the different events that the Australian listeners to the podcast are following more than what we would necessarily follow.
Okay.
Because obviously there's certain amounts of crossover with some events. We talked about swimming and stuff like that. But there'll be events that they're more interested in because they have more horses in that race.
Yeah.
Whereas they might not have bothered to even be aware of like fencing or shooting or something that we've been gripped to because hey, we had a medal chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good. It's good to see that sort of stuff. I remember last time around following a lot of the weird stuff Americans were keeping tabs on that I wasn't. Right. Yeah. But I love me some Olympics.
Yeah.
Doping and what have you. I mean, there's question marks over every single performance these days. But, it's still a big part of athletic prowess.
Yeah, absolutely. I read a very interesting story about the Olympics. The IOC has given out, because obviously in the Olympic Village, they're all at it like rabbits. The IOC is giving out condoms and lube to competing athletes, not just condoms, lube as well. So well done IOC for being forward thinking. But the number of condoms,
after all.
the number of condoms that they're giving out equates to 42 condoms per athlete, right? Which equates to over 2 weeks, right? That's 3 shags a day. Can you imagine? We'd have a sub 6 second 100 metres if we could just keep them from fucking 3 times a day for 2 weeks. They could. It's amazing. Never mind doping. If we could just keep them from shagging each other, they wouldn't be so worn out.
Those people who competed on the first day and lost in the boat race or whatever first day,
just walking through the Olympic Village with a bag full of Johnny's and lube, like, all right, girls.
Good stuff.
At least they're promoting safe sex.
Yeah, what else have you got for us there, Tom?
Coke Zero, Mark. I've never been a big fan of Coke Zero. I've always preferred Pepsi Max, but then I saw an advert the other day that said Coke Zero had improved its flavour, and then coincidentally I took my little girl to Fantastic at the weekend, and instead of having a Diet Coke...
Fantastic?
Fantastic is a soft play place in an industrial estate near us. You know the sort of
right, yeah.
in a warehouse and the kids can run and
by the old tip.
Exactly, by the old municipal tip. So I'm sure it's perfectly safe and there's no landfill asbestos issues there. But they didn't have any Diet Coke, they didn't have any Pepsi Max, so I ordered Coke Zero thinking, new and improved, let's see how it is. And do you know what? It's improved out of sight.
So is it still that same average Coke taste with zero sugar?
Yes, it is, Mark.
But improved.
But better than average.
I always preferred of the no sugar drinks, I always preferred the Coca-Cola Zero range. Right. I always felt it tasted closer to the sugared version.
I've always been a Pepsi Max man, but Coke Zero has definitely improved itself, so I can heartily recommend it to you.
What do you think would happen, right, if you didn't eat any... This is one for Bob, I think. What would happen if you didn't eat any sugars? Like, how long could your body cope before it goes into complete delirium if you eat no sugars whatsoever?
Well, how do you define that, I guess, would be my question. So
you cut out any sort of fruits, you cut out any sort of...
But if you're eating carbohydrates... If you're eating carbohydrates, they're not sugars to start with, and doesn't your body convert them into sugars?
Yeah, but how long would you last on just sort of starchy carbs that your body will stop storing because it'll have to start using immediately, but it can't break them down as fast, can it?
Right.
That's why it stores them, because you eat enough sugar or that to quickly metabolise your energy rather than the slower burning starchy stuff. And I just wondered.
We are definitely not in a position to answer this, but we know a man who is.
It's been on my mind for a while because I've been trying different things with my diet recently and stuff.
Right.
Just to fuck around and vary things up. And
what have you been trying?
Just
because compared to me, you're strictly medium build in my eyes, and I never really notice your weight fluctuating.
It's a lot more veg and that sort of things. Trying to go vegan for a few days and then introducing bits of meat back in But yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, it's not that interesting, but that's what we've been doing at my house. But then I've been thinking about sugar.
Right. Very good.
So, Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Thumbs up from Tom.
Coke Zero gets 2 Tom thumbs up, absolutely. And the only other one was, I was going to recommend Oz, which I've been watching is on box set, but I'm not really bothered about that. But have you been watching James Corden on the Late Late Show?
No, I haven't.
He's really good. I was surprised by how good he was, but yeah, he's very. It might have a lot to do with his guests. He gets a lot of high caliber guests on there,
and he's very
I find it very
comfortable and familiar with people, which sets a good tone, doesn't it, in the way he delivers stuff. Yeah,
I find it very enjoyable. You can watch it all on. You can get it on catch up on Sky, but I would recommend it. He's very good.
I think it's easy to hate if you want to hate him.
Yeah,
because you can just sort of get in on that like sort of smugness.
I've got to admit,
wants to be a celebrity personality style into him. But if you forget about that and just go on as this is a tubby lad from Essex made good.
Yeah.
Then every credit to the lad.
I've got to admit, I did put it on because I have been a bit snarky about him in the past, and it's always been a case of, all right then, big guy, let's see how funny you are without Ruth Jones writing most of your jokes.
Because all we wanted was. We liked him in Gavin and Stacey. Then when he sort of started presenting stuff by himself and doing every advert known to man, when he was buying any car,
fell out with him.
Then we thought, well, you're in it for the money now, don't you? So you sort of want to hate him.
Yeah, he's come full circle. He's back to being Smithy again in my eyes. So I would recommend that you take a look at that. It's okay to talk, Mark. Should we talk about the hashtag that's been going around?
Definitely worth covering because it's something we've covered from the very off, really, with this show. We've talked about how it was a motivating factor, in a way, behind starting the show up in the first place. And it's, the show has been used, I suppose, by both of us at times to cover off topics and things like that. And it has always, mental health issues have always been at the forefront. And it's good to see another push from that coming from within our sport. That's getting a lot of momentum out there. It's the Andy's Man Club set up by Luke Ambler, sort of after the sad death of his brother-in-law. And it's remarkable stuff, what's going on there, and really proud of our sport that we've got people like Luke, people like Stevie Ward, people like Danny Sculthorpe, and everyone involved with the State of Mind, Jimmy Gittins, or whoever it might be involved with that. This is just the latest in a string of how it's the most physical sport probably that there is Rugby League. It's the fastest contact sport. It's the most relentless contact sport. It's probably the least protected on the body contact sport. You think of physical manliness, and what our sport's doing to help address mental health issues is brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. I can't really add to what you've just very eloquently said. To be honest, we're going to do our picture such as it is and send out the OK symbol and nominate a few people and just help to spread the word about talking about mental health and feeling comfortable doing so, and being able to take that very brave step. Yeah, I mean, you've shown the value of that though yourself in pieces you've written on our blog, how you've opened up to the listeners and stuff. I know people have appreciated that, and I know there's listeners out there who've got in touch with us about their own struggles. Not just men, although this is a big issue for men, is suicide. It's the biggest killer for men of our age group. And it's probably not had the focus it's deserved. But also, female listeners as well to the show have their struggles too, and it's a whole around piece of understanding mental well-being. Yeah, absolutely. For us. But this is great. This is targeted on a specific issue to draw that attention to it, to help highlight. We've had all these things, about heart disease, about smoking, about all these big health problems, and this is the biggest one for men of our age.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking to someone who's had, very close experience with the mental health system in this country and the support that's available to you, it's remarkable what there is out there. And if you put yourself in a position to access it and look at it as an illness and not an affliction or something that's wrong with you that can't be, treated, and look at it as an illness with symptoms that you can work on and you can counteract. There is a tremendous amount of support out there within the National Health Service and within the clinical world, but also from organisations like State of Mind and from your friends and from your family and from the people that are close to you. If you can access a couple of those and use that, you'll be astounded by the love and support that very quickly comes flooding your way. And I know I certainly was, and I'm certain that will be the case for anyone else who's in that position now.
Obviously, Andy's Man Club started up in West Yorkshire as its base, but what they want to do is have one of those sorts of weekly or whatever sessions for men to attend, where hopefully you'll be able to get professional support as well as just the support of people in a similar situation. Want to set up one of those in every major town in the country. So if you're interested in getting involved with that, the first place to go, I suppose, would be their Twitter feed at Andy's Man Club, or check out the news articles, or they're in the Independent, the Guardian. Ricky Gervais has been tweeting about it, so I'm sure you'll pick it up there. Search for the hashtag It's Okay to Talk, and you'll find out more about this cause. Yeah,
fantastic stuff. Okay. Next week's show, Mark, what have we got for these lovely people?
Well, I don't know about next week's show, but I've been bubbling and simmering on a rant that hasn't come out in the show.
What?
But it might come out in writing, in a blog that I started to write last night. So we'll see. If the Olympics doesn't quite grip me of a late night after Emma goes to bed, but before I do, then I might head
It's bothering me that your lovely lady wife goes to bed and you stay up ogling the gymnasts.
The male ones,
Yes, yeah. We've fallen a little bit in love with some of these divers of gymnasts, haven't we? But more on that later, perhaps. So, when you go home. So, how do people get in touch with the show? How do they get involved? How do they interact with us and one another, Mark?
Okay, so most commonly at Super League Pod on Twitter. Less commonly, so please get more involved with this, guys, is facebook.com/Super League Pod. There's also by email, superleaguepod@gmail.com. Blog, I just mentioned, the ones about disciplinary are still up there on the rounds if you've not caught up with those yet. I put a bit of effort into those, so every read and every bit of feedback on those is much appreciated. They're at superleaguepod.blogspot.co.uk or blogs.bot.com or probably .au.com or I don't know, whatever end.
Look for Blogspot.
Yeah, superleaguepod.blogspot.com. Please go and read those if you have a moment spare, and that's pretty much it, isn't it? Like and share the show, guys, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google, on Spreaker, on iTunes. I've started to try and post iTunes links up as well for people to share out, because I know there are a lot of Apple users in this world. So please share it far and wide, kids, because that's the
only bit of love we ask for.
Yeah,
just to spread the word.
We give you this for free, and that's your penance, that's your cost.
Yeah,
that and having to listen to me rant a lot.
Just make it so that you don't have to suffer alone and inflict it on someone else. Misery loves company. Right. Hopefully, Misery will love company next week on episode 113 of your favourite Rugby League podcast. But for now, that's your Super League pod. We'll see you next time.
Because they're all like shaved as well, and that I don't know why.
There's added femininity, isn't there? In the
I get why swimmers shave.
I'd love it if you could get one.
But I don't know why divers shave.
If you get the Uzbeki entrant and he's just Maxim Uzlamanov and he's just fucking.
Well, it's very tight qualification for the diving. It's 8 teams only, and they go straight to the final. There's no qualification tournament in the Olympics itself. Yeah, there's a bit of a splash on the far guy.
Yeah. We could have done better than that.
Well, if the aim was to splash more, yeah.
Can you imagine us doing that fucking shit? It'd be like that. Do you remember the old John Smith's advert with Peter Kay and top bombing?
Top bombing.